What's up out there, Internet land? Jackie B, Captain Jack, Facebook, family, friends, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter. Want to complete this series on the 6 smart planning moves that everyone should understand. So I made this post either today or yesterday that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, and he who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. So obviously Einstein wasn't ignorant. He was a brilliant man. Whether he had similar beliefs than him or not, he was a very smart person. And I guess the question is, why would you not want to earn it and be on the other side of the curve? And so often people, because they get entrenched with the mass marketing and the media and large institutions of the government, putting stuff in your head that you think is true when in fact it is not true. So today, the last one of the 6 smart money moves around your wealth is there is more to gain by reducing losses versus chasing returns. There is more to gain by reducing losses versus chasing returns. I know what you're saying. What do you mean losses? I mean any money that you could avoid losing to somebody else other than yourself. I'm not talking about, going out to eat or taking a vacation, or instead of, putting your pennies aside from passing up Starbucks or a lot of these other traditional things that some financial people put out, but real losses, meaning if you lose something to another entity, that money is gone forever. So there's basically 3 types of money. Everybody's familiar with these two, accumulated lifestyle. And most advisors out there are strictly focusing on accumulate, 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 accumulate. And you may have had a discussion that sounds something like this. Hey, move your money over to XYZ here. We'll manage it. We'll take it better. We'll trade in the stuff that you like and put it in stuff we like and hope it all works out. But we're really good, so move it to us. I'm sure many of you have heard that discussion. I used to have that discussion. I no longer do, because what you're doing here in essence is you're trading time for money. And if you can get 15 to 20% stick in this quadrant of wealth, then you could be okay, So that's the name of the game, is to take what you're making, stick away 15 to 20%, and sometime in the future, you'll become very wealthy. Well, if that worked, how come every generation wouldn't keep getting wealthier and wealthier and wealthier, and we see people struggling? We see generations leaving other generations in misery. We see people, trying to go into retirement with 30 grand, hoping it's all going to work out, relying on Social Security. Why isn't it working? The second piece of money is lifestyle money. Back to this accumulated money. If you put money with anybody that tells you they can accumulate it, how much risk did they take? Meaning the advisor. 0. Who took all the risks? You did. Who gets paid? Whether it goes up or goes down? They do. So I find it interesting, that the whole arrangement between the financial world and clients trying to accumulate wealth is built on no risk really to the advisor and all the risk on you or me. The second piece of money you're very familiar with is called lifestyle money, and it's really a conversation about needs versus wants. The name of the game ultimately is if you can accumulate enough wealth through dividends, rents, interest, that take care of giving you what you want, then you have become financially independent in theory, correct? So that's really the name of the game, and that's what people think, we need to do, is just accumulate money in the right spots, get the dividends, rents, or interest to kick off what we want. And it doesn't really matter what age you are then financially independent. So the third piece of money that nobody really talks about is transferred money. And this is money that you or I are losing to basically two people. Number one, financial institutions, or number two, the government. And there's 36 ways you and I transfer money to one of those two entities each and every day. And I'm not going to go through all 36 of them. I'm going to go through two. And the first is around autos. If at the age of 30, I went through this exercise before, we buy two cars, have $350 a month payment, and every 5 years we trade in the equity buying the new. That means we've got 420 months of purchasing cars at $700 a month. And if we could earn 7% on that money, the cost of getting to and from work is about $1.3 million. That's the opportunity cost that we lost as the way we chose to buy these automobiles. Now think about this. Most people don't even have $1.3 million to their name, but they've transferred this money to another entity. Do you think the financial institution is going to educate you or I on how to retain some, if not all, of this money? Of course they're not. And that's one example of transferred wealth or transferred money. The second type of example of transferred money would be in the form of a loan. So let's say you needed to borrow $10,000. And other than a family emergency, you call me and you say, Jack, I need to borrow 10 grand. And I say, well, look, I'm privileged to be able to help you. I'll do such. Before you cash my check, what would you want to know before you take that and cash it? Well, you'd want to know, number one, the interest rate, and number two, the terms, prepayment penalties, etc., etc. And I want you to listen to my audacious response. You know what? I don't need the money now. In fact, I probably don't need it anytime in the near future. But there will be a time, sometime down the road, where I'll decide what interest rate I want to charge you and the terms of all this, retroactive to the date that you cash my check. Would you cash the check? Now, 100% would not cash a check without knowing the terms, yet 95% of you take this loan every day. To find out more, ask me, private message me, but 95%, meaning 9.5 of you, 10, are taking this loan. I'm not going to go into this today, but imagine. These are two areas that people are transferring money unknowingly and unnecessarily. So to validate the reducing losses or expenses is really the key to really your wherewithal. If you look at a household making 100 grand, they're putting 10 grand away, they think they're going to earn 8% or 800 a year. That means in essence that if they made 100, spent, not spent, but saved 10, then they basically lived off or paid taxes or paid debt instruments to other entities, so forth and so on. Now what I'm talking about here has nothing to do with lowering your present standard of living. It's really saying if we're transferring money to one of these two institutions, what is that potentially costing us? Well, in this example, if you just look at the mere fact of 90 grand over somebody working from 30 to 65 at 7%, that's $13 million unaccounted for, going to somebody's balance sheet other than your own. So how much of this 13 million would you want to get back? That's what I mean. There's more to gain by, cutting losses than there is chasing returns. And I'll validate that. If we put in 10 grand a year at 8% and earning 800 bucks, if on average I find 10, 15, 20,000 a year with this type of, household income. So let's just use 5. If we got 5 grand and we're putting away 10, it means that I'm earning 50% on my money. And how much risk did that take you? Absolutely nothing. So the key to all this is cutting money from transferring to the other entities, keeping it on your balance sheet, and by design, you will be better off. And you will start to, if you put money into the right locations, really start to build the eighth wonder of the world. So again, are you somebody who is earning it and building it and never interrupts it because of how you have capital position? Or are you saving and spending it, depleting the compound interest curve? Or are you the payer that is constantly behind the 8 ball? I hope this has been a great lesson. If you do, like it, share it, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Thank you.